Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Believe it or not, we've got another red car, and this one in real life sounds as good as it looks as it does in the game. As a recent addition to the game, interior wise, it looks everything that it should be. Strangely looks a little bit BMW on the interior. Gearbox, steering wheel, seating, all looks very much like a BMW, but it is wholly Italian. Performance wise, it's got the big brakes, it's got everything attached to it. We're just going to go and take a look at the spec. The World Touring Car Championship has a PP target of 700. This one comes in just underneath at 699.94. 660 brake horsepower, so it's the upper limits of where we would be normally. We haven't really dealt with a car that's got such a significant power. We're going to run racing medium tyres. We're going to try and do this on a two-stop. We're going to really try and get this fuel economy good. We're going to probably have to short shift, probably come off the power early, but we're hoping we can get in there with two stops, avoiding the rain, of course. Fully customizable suspension, nothing changed. Fully customizable diff, and we've taken the route on the 555. Downforce, we do have on this a front splitter, side skirts, rear valance, and the rear wing. This car is limited on its upgrades, I believe. There's no wide body option, even though it looks wide bodied. Wheels are standard, we haven't changed anything from default. The downforce is actually for tuning purposes, so we've actually got that as close to the 700 pp by setting the front to 108 and the rear gets everything at 425. Fully customizable ECU at 100 with no adjustments, no restrictions. Manual transmission that's coming at default at 340. And that again really works well for economy. So 8 speeds, let's see where we get to with that. Medium RPM turbo with no anti-lag. The intercooler is at racing with air cleaner, silence and exhaust manifold. Brake system and brake pads racing. We've got the brake balance controller installed. Clutch and flywheel is at racing, and we chose not to add any engine tuning at all. We went for the bodywork weight reduction, so we installed 1, 2 and 3 and the increased rigidity. It's either way, it's horses for courses. If you want to add some power and settle on a 3-stop, that's up to you. I would literally say just rebody the car if you've already installed the weights and add the engine tuning parts. It's horses for courses, it's whatever you want to do. I could do both and do a comparison video, but hey, where's the fun in that? We're going to get on with going to the track. Here we are at the World Touring Car 700. It's just 30 minutes of the 24 hours of Le Mans. Settings today will be assist, traction control 1, default ABS, everything else off except ASM and counter steer assistance and strong. We are grinding, so at the end of the day it's going to be easy. We could actually up the challenge if we want to and turn them off, but that's entirely up to you. You race how you see fit. Controller settings, controller steering sensitivity 5, force feedback max torque 5 and force feedback steering sensitivity 6. We are on a G29 steering wheel. It's in a rig which is a custom homemade wooden rig. It does everything it's supposed to on the tin, and ultimately any other form of control method on a steering wheel you can use your own settings, but in terms of a controller, if you're on an auto gearbox you're probably going to have to do a little bit more work. If you're on a manual gearbox, my settings won't apply to you, you'll need to tweak that. Rain for the race, well, the hour before the race here we're not actually seeing any rain or anything coming into the track. Maybe those grey patches, those darker grey patches are the rain clouds. We're not seeing any movement. As we zoom out, there does seem to be a large patch of grey over to the right, so let's see if we can work out if anything comes from that right hand corner. My kind of estimation is it will come sort of that way. Let's see what happens. Let's get to the race. So the Alfa Guilia. Fuel map down to 6. And we're going to see where this goes. The noise is absolutely epic. That is thunderous in my ears. Now, gearing on this makes it really quite different to other cars. We're at 2.9 already. We're going to short shift as we go through the rev range. They've left us a nice gap through there. We're up to 6th, but hold it down in 5th. 3 on the fuel gauge already. That's exactly what we need. Running these high gears allow you to conserve fuel. And it's a wholly different technique as opposed to thrashing it down the circuit. But we need to see where the rain is to make the change on the day. Up into 11th place, we're at 180 mile an hour, careering down towards the braking zone. We're going to lift off anyway and brake at the normal point just to save some of that fuel. We go in deep and it's quite comfortable. The car is very controllable, very easy. .8 on the fuel gauge, this is ideal. Make our way up to 4th place before halfway around the circuit. This car is very capable. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to lift and coast and then brake at the last marker. Down to 4th gear, beautifully turned in. Gonna brake on the white lines. Use that 5th gear to just bring the car down. So 2.7 on the fuel gauge then. We've done the stretching of the fuel. We can potentially get our foot down now and start chasing the race. We know we've got enough. So just going to put that weather radar to full, and we said the rain would come in from that direction. So let's keep an eye and see where that goes. Up into 4th place. 8th gear. Now we're going to brake early for this one. Going to get the car down into the braking zone. Usually a 2nd gear corner, but in this car, this gear range, now it's not often we're in this 3rd position at this point of the race. I'd expect this to be an outlap of like a 404, 406, one would suggest, maybe. We are light on front downforce, so I'm just starting to feel there that the car isn't really turning in as much as it probably could. But that could be to do with the gearing as well. Rear wheel drive, lots of power. Look at it go through the rev range. Let's just check on fuel. 2.2, we're good. We can drive this as we see fit. Let's keep an eye on that rev range, that rain radar. We tapped the back end of the Viper there, got ourselves some damage. A little bit of a tweak at the rear end. So in 1st place, the 405, bang smack in our target estimate of where we ought to be. This is going to be one of the quickest cars we've raced around here. If we do this right, this could be the first demonstration of a wait on a 7th lap kind of car. At this moment in time, oh, we've just strayed off. Let's see if we can recover that. We can. We gave ourselves too much freedom there. Now we did purchase the wet tyres. It's been a couple of days since we've actually done a race here because we've been off playing time trials. So we're just in the process of playing catch up and getting video content done for the weekend. We're going to attempt, as we have done the last couple of weeks, to give you 2 videos a day for the weekend. just to keep the appetite flowing, just to keep your car content going, and to give you more opportunity to race those cars in the garage that you don't normally race. In all fairness, this car went into my garage and I thought, oh yeah, would like to give that a play, and I haven't actually had the opportunity to pick this up and do anything with it. So this is really the first time out for me. As you can see there on the gauge, 86 miles, that's the lot. We haven't really took the opportunity to experiment with it and see where it goes. But there's a few cars I want to try this weekend, so a couple of requests from inside the comment section, which we'll try and address this weekend. I know there's some big monsters that people want me to bring the track, but I am going to decline on the opportunity to do GR1 and GR2 cars for now, and we're going to try and avoid engine swaps where possible, but there are a couple coming, so we want to keep those people with less than level 50 interested, which is key, because growth in the channel needs to be with the people coming through it. There's so many videos now that we've got you can watch and take tips and lessons from. Hopefully these series of grinding instructional videos really are showing you that you don't really have to do a lot to tune these vehicles. There's no suspension tunes at all that require you to do anything. The cars are wholly drivable. Shouldn't ever be frightened, because we're not racing humans. If we're racing humans, we would probably need to flex our muscles a bit with the old tuning capabilities, but we're racing the AI, and the AI really aren't anything to live by. So we've got rain. It's not coming in as the forecast suggests. It's coming in from the bottom left hand corner. Let's just check fuel status, 1.1. So we need to do a bit of lift and coast. We're going to do that now. We're not too worried about the rain at this moment in time, I don't think. I can't see that there's a lot of it. It is coming in from the south, but I can't see any strength in there. We're going to take the risk, and we're going to go to the end of the third lap for the pit stop. And if it does rain hard and strong, we're going to have to work it out, aren't we? We got the fuel to last to the end of the lap, which is pretty good. We're 16.8 seconds ahead of the car behind. There is some rain within this cloud, which I'm now just seeing, which is probably not a good thing. On a recent video we did risk it. Mr. Blazan's gone to the pits, but he is on a 2-stop strategy. Sorry, 3-stop strategy. We're on the 2-stop strategy. That dense rain within that cloud is actually dissipating as it gets closer to us. Tyres are looking really good, no dramas. So our fast lap there of 4:05.219 is representative of the opening lap. This is a fairly decently quick car. Rain is now falling, and we're just skirting around the heavy stuff. Look, it's just hitting the bottom of the track. So we're in the light gauge stuff. Just going to lift and brake early. We've got rain showing on the water depth meter just beneath me. Helicopter hasn't gone back to its landing stage yet. The rain obviously isn't that bad. It is starting to come down though. We just need to pay attention to it and be careful. 21 seconds in the lead. We're going to do the coast thing, under braking, and just make sure we've got reasonable control of the car as we go into the corners. The 555 diff setting and the 2 help aids really do help out at this point, as we're starting to dive through the heavy clouds. So the heavy clouds are around us but not actually touching the track. We are quite lucky at this point. We're highly likely to get hit with some heavy rain now, I believe. No, we're skirting straight between the middle. That's fortuitous, isn't it? Big stuff coming up ahead. Well, we do have to consider where we're going with the rain. Let's just ease off, break down a couple of gears, come through the apex as the tarmac changes colour, get down into third gear to make this corner. Here it comes again. At this point we just want to stay on the racing tyres, and we're hoping that things are starting to clear up now. If we look at that rain radar, it is really backing off. We don't have a massive amount of fuel though. 7%, will that get us home? Question is, down to 0.1, and here comes the heavy stuff again. No, we're not going to change tyres. We're going to stay on the racing tyres, look. There doesn't seem to be any need to change off the racing tyres. Third gear through the chicane. And here we go. We're going to change the tyres, I think. Yes. And we're going to take all the fuel and go to the end of lap 7. We definitely needed to change the tyres. I can't see any really strong rain coming. As we pit in, we're 26.6 seconds ahead. The team either side of us don't seem too intent on readying for the pit stop. We're the only team with the tyres out. Look at the size of those wheels and tyres. They're immense. 3 cars are just in the pit lane behind us now. Teams either side of us just readying for the car to come in, but it looks like we're going to know Mr. Yamanaka and Mr. Portilla go ahead of us in the pit lane, and we're away now. Looking for the rain. It's just ending. The cloud bank has just moved over the top of us, and water depth on the track is saying the racing tyre is still the primary tyre. We're the only car in the field to be running the mediums. If we'd have chosen the hards, we could have probably put on some more power mods, but then we wouldn't have the fuel for sure. Just overran that corner slightly there. I went for the higher gear for the fuel economy, but then changed my mind as we couldn't get the car to grip. Got to watch out for the wet patches. 19 seconds ahead at this point, so just lost a little bit in the pit stop with taking on board the full 3 laps. Our fuel economy is not as good as those around us. So this out lap isn't going to be a purple one. We can't set a record lap on the out lap. Let's look for a drying line. That's what we're looking for now. We also want to be fuel saving, so get up the gears so that we're using the higher rev range, using the torque of the engine, and it looks like we're going to get more rain. So the cloud is going to turn on us, and we're just crossing a hole in the cloud, so it looks like a break ahead. Look, it's brightening up, but as we can see from the radar, it looks like we have more rain on the horizon. The rain really does make this race the challenge. "24 seconds in the lead, so we pulled 4 seconds of that back. And it's the guys that are on the 2 stopper that are chasing us down. Yes, we are wholly surrounded by the rain, so shouldn't really be anything to go with. Fuel absolutely spot on, 2.5. We're looking to stop again at the end of the 6 laps. .9 seconds in the lead, and that cloud bank doesn't seem to be getting any closer. Just going to brake early at this point, coasting through. And we almost touched the gravel there with 2 tyres. Go. There's a gap in the clouds. Look at that. It looks like we're going to be fortunate here. Again, the risk has paid off that we gambled on not taking the wets. What I'm hoping to do at this point is put in a really fast middle lap. If we're fully clear in the weather window, then we've got this opportunity to go at. Helicopter's still up in the air, so the rain isn't that bad. The track has dried up. There's no water on this part of the track at all, breaking into the chicane, which is strangely non-existent in the film. .9.441 seconds in the lead as we now chase down the edge of the cloud bank that's away to our west, to the west of the track. We'll pick up any significant fuel saving. We were just down on time, 0.23 slower than our personal best, but we can make that up with a little bit of, oh, we've got ABS kicking in, which is all about the turning, I think, and automatic braking that goes with AMS and counter steer. Now it looks like we're coming to the end of the clearing. It looks like we've got rain coming back. Half a second we're down here, so see if we can push on before this rain hits. It's a question of whether we need to pit at the end of this lap and do another 2-stop stint. We can still get that fastest lap at the end of this stint. We never got to 8th gear. Need to make sure we do the fuel consumption. Feels like the sun's out and trying to burn through. We do have some heavy rain ahead in that cloud bank. 37 seconds in the lead. Almost kind of doubled the gap we had. Just got it into 8th gear. Into the final cloud bank once and for all. 39 seconds in the clear, but it looks like we're going to need them as the rain starts to come in. Decisions is, are we going to pit this lap or are we going to go round again? 3/4 of a second down at this point. I think we're in a situation where we're going to dance through those pockets of heavy rain again. A little bit of water on the track back there, but nothing over here. It is raining, quite heavy. Whatever rain there is some heavy stuff there, but hey ho. Again, I don't think it's going to be majorly difficult to negotiate. There is some heavy stuff in there. One lap of fuel remaining, and look at that cloud. Have we made the mistake? It's coming heavy. Just use the brakes effectively. 46 seconds in the lead. I think we're going to skirt around most of that heavy stuff. I think it might trip up a level, but I don't think we're ever going to get away from the hard tyres. 8 minutes to go. Got one lap to do at the end of this one. Here comes a little heavy downpour. There goes the rain above the limit we want it to be, but I don't see it being majorly heavy. If we'd have stayed in the pits another 40 seconds, pitting early, we'd have still taken the same tyres. We just need to do the sensible thing and back out. 51 seconds in the lead. Slow the car down. As you can see, it's struggling to turn. With the water under the front tyres and the rear tyres now. Just need that water to back off and dry out a bit. 8 speed, don't matter, we're just going to take it through. A number of the lead cars now going to the pits. But I don't think anybody's taking the wet tyre. Sure, we're having to slow down, but I think it's all controllable. A little bit of power off. He says all controllable, and then it has to spit me out, doesn't it? A little bit of front end damage. Let's just... The wheel spin and the traction control taking over. Not got any grip whatsoever in 4th gear. We're all struggling in this condition. I think there's that spin again. That's just... The car brakes 3. We've got traction control on 1, so we could potentially reduce that TC. At this point, it's a slow lap. The track's just not drying out as quick as we want it to. The earlier confidence and excitement is dissipating. Braking early. We couldn't have braked early enough. Look, into the gravel. That's 2 mistakes. Traction control onto 4 because I selected 5. It's extremely wet here, isn't it? Extremely wet. pitting in now, and we're going to take the dry tyres, but we have to be exceedingly careful of the pit entry and pit exit. It's going to be an absolute shower of doo-doo, but the only place that we're going to need any wet tyres would be in the entry and exit. We only need 1 lap of fuel. There he is. We're going to take the mediums. We're not going to take the tyres. We're going to leave them. And we're just going to take 1.2 laps of fuel. 3 minutes 38 left of the race. It's going to be an under 31 minute race, one would expect. Maybe 31 and a quarter if we're pushing. No other teams are spec'ing any cars. They're just in anticipation of ours. Currently sat at 54.8 seconds in the lead. You can see the impact from the barrier there. No need to jack the car up. We're not taking the tyres. Just keep that traction control where it is. Mr. Portilla goes to the garage to take fuel. So does Mr. Yamanaka. So, as we could anticipate this, we are going to be a minute ahead, it looks like, even with the pit stop taking place. Track really is drying out now, so I'm going to turn that traction control off to 1. Sorry. There's no rain on the rain radar at all, so we'll go back to the fuel economy gauge. Oh no, and I've not braked for the pits. Oh dear. Through the gravel. There was me looking at the fuel gauge. How much of a penalty did we get for that? 3.5 seconds. Oh my lordy. I was looking down. Did we take all the fuel? We did. We didn't pull out with 1.2, so let's get the power on. Sod it. There's 2 major mistakes. 3 major mistakes in the race. Oh. I was too busy talking, wasn't I? Gabbling. Is 3.5 seconds a big enough penalty for diving through the chicane? I don't know. Only 1 minute left of the race to go. And we've got the ability to turn up the power on this now, so we're a bit heavier than we should be because of carrying all the fuel. But the minute lead we expected is still there. Mr. Portilla languishing some 58 seconds behind. A very capable car this. Any issues or errors purely down to the driver. The car really hasn't missed a beat all race. It hasn't been its fault that we've had any problems. Fuel economy, easy to manage. A little bit of lifting, a little bit of coasting, short shifting. But what we do know is the AI, if racing this car, won't really be able to help it. It may be stopping every 2 laps with the AI, and here's the 3.5 second penalties. And away we go as we absolutely thrape the rev limit. So 30 minutes 15, see if we can get back to the pits before the minute finishes. Minute 15. 2-stop strategy achieved. No major dramas with that. through the final chicane. And there we have it, folks, the Alfa Guilia. Absolutely tip top, in my opinion. It's a good looking car, again in red. But it achieves the first place and it does everything it says on the tin. I'd be happy to grind that a number of times. So 31.04 came in on prediction, leading the race, winning the race by over 1 minute 1 second. We didn't get to lap anybody, but we got the fastest lap of 4:05.219 on lap 2. And we achieved the clean race bonus, even though we were skipping across the gravel pits, touching on the door of 20 million and a 3-star ticket. Well, thank you very much, PD. That just goes in the bank. And there she is, folks. Thank you very much for joining us today. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. If you want to make any comments, want to try a car, give us a suggestion down below. We are using road cars for race cars. So if you've got something in that line, drop us a hit, drop us a text, drop us a comment, and we'll see where we go. Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you on the next one. All the best. Take care.